Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for coming. A special welcome to our guests from Optima Health and the Virginia Lottery. Great partners for Old Dominion University and our athletic department. Coming off an extremely frustrating loss at Middle Tennessee Saturday in a game that we had the most yards we've had this year, 423 yards on offense. Defensively, gave up 3 points and 100 yards in the second half. Offensively, had 261 yards in the second half and just could not put the ball in the end zone in the second half. This was really a tale of two halves on Saturday. We did not play well defensively early in this game, particularly in the back end. We had three starters out in this game: Tobias Moss, Calvin Bruton, and Harold Blackman, our starting corner, and two of our safeties, and we gave up three touchdown passes on plays that we should have defended in this game. And then offensively hurt ourselves early with some penalties. We had a penalty on each of our first three drives that set us back. Speaking to the unit, special teams, we played well in this game. We won the battle of field position. We tackled their punter early on the 15-yard line that led to a touchdown. We covered kicks well. Blake Watson, who's number 2 in the league in kickoff returns, only got one opportunity in this game and had a really good return. The one thing that we missed one field goal. Nick hit the upright on one of our field goals. Defensively, I mentioned the first half was poor. Second half was dominant. And again, the biggest difference was in the coverage. I do believe we'll have two of our starters back. Both safeties, I believe, will be back for this game, Bruton and Blackman, which was a big difference in this game. I do want to compliment Will Brachini, who played his first game ever at safety. He moved from corner to safety in this game, played well. He had 6 tackles in the game. He was primarily the safety coming down in the box, and for a little guy, stuck his face in there, and I thought played a very good football game. Lawrence Garner led us with tackles with 9. He's got 104 on the year. He's number 2 in CUSA right now in tackles. Offensively, clearly a very good football game by Hayden Wolf. In only his third game, he continues to develop and play at a high level. He was 39 for 65 in this football game, 321 yards, had a touchdown pass. His interception came off a drop pass by one of our receivers, which unfortunately fell right to their linebacker, who returned it for a touchdown. And in 3 games, Hayden is averaging 245 yards a game passing, and each game that number has gone up. He would, if he had enough passes, he'd be 5th in the league right now in passing in only 3 football games. And the good news about it, he gets better every week. The great news about it is he'll be a freshman again in 2020 because he's only going to play in 4 games. Aaron Moore set the school record in this game for catches with 14. He had 193 yards receiving and a touchdown. He's really starting to remind me of one of the great receivers we had here, Larry Pinkard. Larry Pinkard was a guy who was long, he was tall, tremendous speed, just really fluid. And when Larry learned how to run routes, that's when he became an impact receiver. And I'm sure a lot of people are wondering, okay, how does Aaron Moore have 8 catches in 10 games and then have 14 catches in 1 game? Well, obviously the big difference is the quarterback, but he's just continued to get better and better throughout the year. We saw it at Marshall. He had a long touchdown catch. Last week against San Antonio, he had a 15 or 58-yard touchdown catch, was our longest of the year. And then this week he has a 63-yard touchdown catch. So he just continues to get better and better. When you think about that combination, Wolf and Moore, and then you throw in Eric Kuma, who I will believe will be the best wide receiver in the league next year, that's really exciting. I also want to compliment the offensive line. Each of our 5 starters played 92 snaps in this game, which is the most of the year. It's a difficult position to play without any rest at all. And for the first time all year, we had 0 sacks in this game against a team that was a heavy blitz team. Our guys did a really good job picking it up. Hayden got us in the right protection. And then you also saw with Hayden Wolf, even on a couple of the blitzes where we were unblocked, we didn't have enough to block him. He got the ball out quickly, which is going to make Charlotte see and recognize that if we blitz him, he's going to get the ball out, and allows us to do a much better job up front. For the first time since Virginia Tech, we went over 100 yards rushing, and that's with Keyshawn Strong was out in this game. Lala Davis went out early with the shoulder. Blake Watson is finally back healthy from the ankle. He had some really good runs in this game. So I feel like with Strong back this week, if we can get Davis a little bit more healthy, we can continue to grow the run game. This week's opponent is Charlotte, who's 6-5 right now. They're probably the hottest team in the league. They've won 4 games in a row, all league games. Offensively, Chris Reynolds is a quarterback similar to Asher O'Hara, the quarterback we just played. Chris has the ability to run the ball, throw the ball. He actually had 25 carries for 150 yards in this past week's game against Marshall, a game that was played in difficult conditions, a lot of rain and a lot of wind, but he is a dual threat guy. Benny LeMay, who had missed the last 3 games, came back for the Marshall game, went over 100 yards. He's one of only 2 running backs in the league averaging over 100 yards, and then their wide receiver Victor Tucker has 730 yards on the season. So this is an explosive offense. They average nearly 430 yards per game. Defensively, they're allowing 392 yards. They have 2 of the best defensive ends in the league. That's really their strength up front. Alex Highsmith is a candidate for Defensive Player of the Year. He leads the league in sacks with 10.5. Marquise Watts has 7.5 sacks, the other defensive ends. So it's one of those you almost got to pick your poison, who you're going to double and how you're going to protect. So we'll need to do a really good job with those 2 guys up front. This is the final game of 2019. This is one we want to win for sure, especially playing at home on Senior Day. And I know our guys will be excited to play and come out and play good football. We also have a special announcement. We've finalized our non-league schedule for 2020. For the first time in 6 years, 7 of our 12 will be at home. We'll play 7 at home and only 5 on the road. Three of those 4, including 2 Power 5 teams in Wake Forest and the University of Virginia, 2 really good teams. Both those teams are 8-3 right now, so that'll give us 7 at home. The schedule sets up this way. We'll open at home September 5th against Wake Forest. Week 2, we'll play at home against Hampton on September 12th. October 3rd, we'll play at the University of Connecticut. And then October 24th, we'll play home against Virginia. Those are the 4 non-league games right now. We won't know the league schedule until early next year, but I'm really excited with this home schedule to have 7 at home. The quality of the opponent that we have at home, 2 Power 5 teams coming to our place, that's not something you see. I don't know if anybody else next year that is a group of 5 team will have 2 Power 5s coming into our place. So very excited about that, and with that I will gladly take questions.
Bobby, how did the UConn game come about? I know they're going independent, so they're probably looking for games. And I think you had North Carolina in there.
Yeah, we did. That's something that Wood and Bruce Stewart and myself talked about with next year's schedule, is that if there was an opportunity not to have 3 Power 5s on the schedule, the model we'd like to try to consistently have is 1 to 2 Power 5s, another group of 5, which UConn is, and then 1 FCS opponent. We'd like to try to play somebody local if we can. So it was really a 3-way scheduling work with UConn, North Carolina, and then with ourselves. And Bruce Stewart did a great job handling that. And then the ability, Ed, to make it where all 4 of those weren't at the start, to try to also have some balance throughout the schedule with the non-league, which is a major challenge. You look at most people's schedules, the non-league is usually all up front. So this allows us not to play 8 consecutive league games, which really helps.
Anything else for Coach?
All right, thank you all for coming. I see we have some food in the back, Eric. Is that right?
That's correct.
We've got something to eat, which our media friends, I'm sure, will like. Have a great week, everybody, and a happy Thanksgiving.